Hello and welcome to this free training on self-sabotage and self-sabotage on your health and fitness journey, really. As a nutrition and fitness coach, this is the number one thing I see holding people back from being able to make the progress that they could to really change their life, to transform their body, to transform their health, is we have to address self-sabotage behaviors and all the different things that come into play that are driving self-sabotage. And so in this training, my goal is to raise awareness around where you might be self-sabotaging, really seeing, where you can look inwards and say, oh yeah, that's me, I'm kind of doing that, and then give you the tools to be able to overcome your self-sabotage, right? And be able to move forward in your journey and really make some incredible progress by squashing your self-sabotage. Let's dive into things. There we go. So this is for the people who kind of know what to do, right? And still don't do it. I hear this a lot from people. They're like, Anna, I know what to do. I'm just not doing it. And there's one thing I will say to that is if you did really know what to do, if you did have full confidence and belief that you could achieve what you wanted to achieve, you would be doing it, okay? But also, like, when you truly are trying to do something, but then you end up doing the opposite, that's really self-sabotage showing up in your life, which, side note, we all do this. I've gone through a lot of this on my journey, and this is why I am so passionate about this topic and teaching on it. And I'll share more about my journey in a minute. So this is, for the person who maybe plans to do one thing, right? Maybe you're planning to eat these certain meals, but then you act differently, right? You don't follow it, or you don't do the things that you had set out to do. There might be some self-sabotage coming into play. Are you frustrated and confused as to why you keep seemingly self-sabotaging sticking to the plan, right? If any of this really resonates with you, this training is for you. And I hope that this training gives you so much value, and we are jam-packed with actionable takeaways. And at the same time, at the end of this, I am going to share an opportunity to work with me. So just like to give that as like a heads up for you guys, as like a, I value transparency, and this is what I do full time as my job is coaching women on their health and fitness journeys and really diving deep into this stuff. So this free training is really to give you guys this high level of awareness, hopefully some awesome tools, but also if you are interested in potentially working with me, I'll share more details for that at the end. So a little bit about me and my kind of credentials, experience when it comes to coaching is I'm a certified personal trainer, nutrition coach, and health mindset coach. I'm a certified level 2 health mindset coach, which this is the training that really deepened my understanding on human behavior change, mindset as it comes to health and fitness, and really like actual hard science when it comes to mindset, right? When you hear mindset, you're like, oh, that's kind of this like woo-woo topic, when in reality, mindset is something that is shown in the research to have big impacts on human behavior. And there's some really cool things that I took away from that I'm utilizing all the time with clients, and are things that I'm going to be teaching in here today. I'm also a hormone specialist, and I've worked with over 250 clients, and I've been coaching for over 4 years at this point. It's kind of always been my jam, and so this is what I love to do, and I'm excited to dive into this stuff with you guys today. So this is my business, Strong and Healthy. I help women lose fat for good, get strong and healthy through customized nutrition, workouts, and behavior change coaching. And we do this without extremes or a just be more disciplined approach. And this is really the core of what I'm talking about in this training today is like diving deeper into the things that are truly holding you back. Like, have you ever felt so like unheard by a trainer or by your coach, like just telling you, hey, just do better, like be more disciplined, you just got to try harder, and they just keep it so surface level, and they don't actually meet you at the level at which would be the most transformative for you. And then it becomes this thing where you feel like your coach doesn't understand you. You feel like maybe this whole transformation thing isn't for you. You're not able to do it, right? It just becomes this really negative snowball. And that is my number one, that's a top priority for me, is that all my clients feel heard, feel seen, and that we're able to talk about these deeper things that are truly driving the different patterns, self-sabotage, the different behaviors that you have, right? This is where the true gold is when it comes to transformation, is like the inner work, okay? And so inside Strong and Healthy and all the work that I do, we don't stay surface level. I love to nerd out on the health and fitness stuff. However, the mindset, behavior change stuff is definitely a big passion of mine. So, little bit about my journey. I have been all over the place with yo-yo dieting, with really struggling to stay consistent and really find a sustainable way of eating and way of training that feels good for me. And more than that, finding harmony with my health. That's really been the number one thing that has been a challenge along my journey and has taught me so much. I've been close to 200 pounds in very poor health. I've also been 150 pounds and in very poor health. I've kind of been on all sides of the spectrum, and I struggled in the past with like borderline, binge eating tendencies, yo-yo dieting, really unhealthy body image issues, struggling with emotional eating. Who here feels like they struggle with emotional eating? Because I went through a lot of that and I learned a ton on how to overcome that. I've struggled with different health issues, hormone issues coming off the pill, really just, felt like I kind of went through the ringer in a lot of different ways. And looking back, it has made me a better coach. It has made me more empathetic. It has made me understand what it feels like to feel like sometimes out of control of like your cravings and, struggling to even have the energy to start exercising. And so I like to share a little bit about my journey just to, show you that I haven't always felt amazing. I haven't always just been in this spot where I'm feeling so strong, so, well energized. And so that my goal is to help you create that for yourself, is to feel amazing in your body, to feel amazing in your energy and your health, and really get to a point where you are thriving. So on this left side, this is where I was at my heaviest, and I was really struggling with my hormones, really struggling with energy, everything. Was in a really kind of bad spot in my life, just a lot of different things going on that kind of led to this. And here's when I lost about 20 pounds and felt so much better, back to myself. And here's a little bit earlier on in my journey where this was me actually, I'm 20 pounds lighter on the left, right here, okay, than I am right here. And you can see how much leaner I look on the right, 20 pounds heavier. And can anyone guess why that is? That is muscle mass. That is training hard. That is building muscle, and is just a really great, got lip gloss on my chin. It's just a really great highlight of like why building muscle and the scale going up is not always a bad thing, and can sometimes be amazing for how your body looks. Okay, so that's definitely a big message to especially my women out there, is that we get so hung up on this number on the scale, when sometimes you putting on a little bit of weight in, muscle mass can totally transform your physique and you can feel and look amazing, okay? And so that is a whole nother topic, but this is a little bit about my journey. So let's dive back into self-sabotage. So again, this is the stuff that has had the biggest impact on my journey, right? I've done all the self-sabotaging in all the ways. And this is what I work with clients on a daily basis. So in this presentation, you're going to learn how to really understand where you're self-sabotaging and also overcome that self-sabotage. So you're going to walk away with today 3 strategies to use when self-sabotage arises. And also, like I mentioned, an opportunity to work with me personally, one-on-one, if you are interested in coaching. Okay, so definitely get, pen and paper if you're really serious about absorbing this knowledge and really implementing these things. If not, if you just want to listen in, totally get that as well. And that is also a great way to learn and to start raising your awareness here. Okay, so let's dive into understanding self-sabotage. Self-sabotage, at its core definition, is to behave, especially habitually or compulsively, in a way that interferes directly with one's own goals, well-being, relationships, etc. Okay, so doing things that are directly inhibiting your ability to be successful, right? We're going to understand today kind of why we do this. Do you ever wonder, like, gosh, why am I throwing back handfuls of chocolate chips when I want to be hitting my nutrition goals for the day? Hopefully you are going to understand that better through today's presentation. So here are the different causes of self-sabotage. This is not by any means an all-inclusive list. However, through my many years of experience and working with clients and personally, this is how I would categorize at least the top ways, top causes of self-sabotage. And I'm sure there could be potentially more, but most everything should be able to fall into this way of categorizing things. So we've got a fixed mindset, we've got fear, low self-esteem, coping, and cognitive distortions. We're going to dive into what each of these actually mean. But first, the effects of this, right? The effects of your self-sabotage is you hold yourself back from your own goals, right? You might not be living up to your full potential. That, I'm not sure about you guys, but that's a big fear for me in my life, is I have the goal of really living up to my potential and really being the best version of myself. And so when we deliberately are holding ourselves back from that, it can feel really frustrating. You also might be setting a poor example for those around you. Who has ever felt, frustrated that they're trying to get healthier? You want to be healthier, but you're really struggling. And then that is maybe translating to, showing your kids that that's how you're operating, right? You're showing your family or your friends that you are, not kind of living up to that fullest potential that you want to be for yourself, right? And this, in the end is kind of leading to you feeling unhappy because you aren't being all that you could be. You aren't being the best version of yourself, and you're not quite sure, how to really address these self-sabotaging behaviors that are somehow seemingly running the show. Okay? So let's dive into recognizing these self-sabotaging patterns a little bit more, and then we'll get into the how to overcome things. Okay? So for some concrete examples of how you might be self-sabotaging, you might be overeating, skipping workouts. You might be one of those chronic yo-yo dieters, always on the wagon, off the wagon, right? All or nothing. I can definitely resonate with that one. You might not be even seeking out support or education around these areas that deep down you really do want to improve on, right? You might be avoiding that. And then lastly, you're not taking action towards the things that deep down you truly want for yourself. Or you might be taking opposite action, right? So in your head, or if you want to write this down on paper, this would be great. Rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. This is kind of going to help you gauge where you're at on levels of self-sabotage. Okay? So, number 1, rate yourself. 10 being, this is always me. And then 1 being like, this isn't me. Okay? 5 being half the time, I do this. Okay, number 1, you don't even try to reach your goals. 2, you find yourself doing things that result in the opposite of what you wanted, right? Opposite of the goals that you have. 3, you believe that you don't deserve more and behave in ways that support that belief. And this stuff is tricky because a lot of this is subconscious. Okay? We're not consciously thinking these things. We're not consciously thinking, oh, I don't deserve more. But deep down, this might be what you're believing is you don't, maybe deserve more. You deserve what you have right now. That's all that you're going to be able to do. And so, of course, it makes sense that you wouldn't even try for more if you don't believe that that's actually possible for you. 4, you often ask yourself why things don't go as planned. You maybe are kind of blaming all, externals in your life versus kind of looking inwards. And lastly, you often second guess or doubt yourself. Okay? Now, with that rating, kind of see on a out of 50, right? Where did you rank? And just kind of keeping this self-score and, maybe reassessing this score after implementing some things that we talk about today and really rating yourself maybe 3 months down the line. Okay, so diving into how we overcome self-sabotage. This is where we're going to understand the cause more. This is where we're going to dive deeper into the cause and then some strategies for how to overcome these specific things. So the first cause that we talked about was a fixed mindset. And this is, at its core, a fixed mindset is not believing in your ability to change. This one, I know, is going to hit home for a lot of you. And this is something that we need to check ourselves with regularly. It still comes up for me sometimes, right? When I truly ask myself, I ask myself, do I truly believe, do I have no doubt that this outcome, I'm going to be able to achieve it? I'm going to be able to make the changes and stay consistent with those changes to be able to get this outcome that I'm looking for. And if the answer is no, that's something that's going to hold you back. Okay? Side note, drink your water. So when we don't truly believe in our ability to change, right, or believe in our ability to be successful, then why would we put in the effort, take the actions, work on giving it our all when we don't even believe it's possible, right? It doesn't make sense. So of course we're going to stay how we are. We're not going to try for more. We're going to stay comfortable because, again, we don't believe in ourselves either to be able to show up in the way we need to, or just we don't believe the outcome is even possible for us no matter what we do. We don't believe in our ability to change, so that's going to hold you back. Okay, and how we can start to work on this belief is by improving your self-efficacy. Self-efficacy is an individual's belief in his or her capacity to execute behaviors necessary to produce specific performance attainments, so produce specific outcomes. Basically, this is, building your self-efficacy comes through doing what you say you're going to do, right? Like showing up for yourself, showing yourself that you can trust yourself, that you can stay consistent, that you won't fall off again, right? When I have clients come to me who they've failed over and over and over, they've yo-yo dieted many of times and, failed. what that does is that lowers self-efficacy. That lowers your belief in yourself to be able to be successful and to truly make lasting change. So of course that's going to play a part in holding you back, right? And so this is really a core of my coaching method and what we dive into together, me and clients, and also why you might need some accountability here. It's hard to really start to show ourselves that we can be consistent by only holding ourselves accountable, because the research shows us that having some external accountability is so important and beneficial and can be game changing. Like for example, if any small business owners are watching this, you're a solo entrepreneur, you've got, all these projects that you want to be getting done, but there's no deadline and no one's going to know if you finished it or not. Okay, that is hard to have, to really get things done, right? It takes a very high level of motivation, which for most of us, motivation comes and then it goes. Motivation is not reliable, and we can't, rely on it to be able to continue to be consistent, okay? And so accountability is very, very beneficial. And here's a little bit of the science actually on accountability. Connectedness with others and social accountability is an essential condition for intrinsic motivation in self-determination theory. Ongoing accountability support increases the probability of goal accomplishment to 95%. Just the knowledge of the possibility of impending accountability check-ins increases positive behaviors by 50%. Virtual weekly accountability check-ins conducted by skilled facilitators more than doubles adherence to plans to achieve goals. Accountability is so powerful because it is an evolutionary trait that has evolved over millions of years, hand in hand with self-awareness and our ability to self-regulate, which gives human beings the unique ability to dominate the planet. Okay, and so all of this is going to show how a coach in your life holding you accountable can truly change the game for your ability to be consistent and show up. Therefore, building your self-efficacy and increasing your growth mindset, which is the opposite of a fixed mindset. Next cause of self-sabotage is fear. Okay, this one might seem a little bit counterintuitive. What do you mean, Anna? I'm scared of being successful. Yeah, you might be. When it comes to being successful, meaning we need to change in order to see that success, there are pros of changing, right? There's pros of changing, but there's also cons of changing. And there's sometimes hidden cons that we might not be aware of, which are actually preventing us from changing, right? So when it comes to behavior change, the pros in our mind, the pros of changing have to outweigh our perceived cons. And when they're about equal, this is where people don't do anything. And this is where we need to increase your perceived pros and potentially decrease your perceived cons. So let's take a very easy example. Starting to go to the gym. The pros of this are you are going to increase your energy, increase your muscle mass, have better vitality, right? Improve your hormones, improve your cognitive function, be healthy in old age, right? These are all benefits of working out, okay? And the list continues to go on, right? There's also cons of changing, right? Cons of starting to go to the gym. A con would be moving off of your comfortable couch, okay? Another con could be you feel like you're going to have to take time away from your kids. Another con could be you feel like you'll have less ability to study, right? these are things that we can definitely address and talk about how maybe they don't have to be true, but also some of them are very true cons of change. And so we need to take this into account when it comes to any sort of behavior change. And this is really where clients and I do the inner work. And so this is where you can start to think about, all right, what's something in my life that I really want to change, that I know I'm self-sabotaging about, and get clear on the pros of changing, all the pros, but also what are the cons of changing, okay? And how can you potentially lower the cons or increase the pros, or do a little bit of both? And this is really going to be very beneficial to kind of overcoming that fear of, having to let go of those cons, right? It's kind of facing that fear of changing. Next is low self-esteem. Okay, this is another cause of self-sabotage. This is when we don't feel worthy of success. Who resonates with, maybe you see someone who's fit and, maybe you feel like they're very healthy, and you feel like personally that's never been you. You feel like you're not even somewhere deep down, you don't feel worthy of feeling confident, of feeling good in your body. Maybe this stems from even, childhood, as deep as that is, right? We're not gonna cross the line and get into like therapy talk here, but this is really stuff to kind of look at yourself, look internally, and see where this could be potentially stemming from. And so how to combat this, how to overcome this, is starting to first notice how you speak to yourself in your head. Okay, do you have a raging inner critic? Mic drop. Do you have a raging inner critic? Okay, because this one is going to be a major key for you being able to change, being able to reach your goals, is not letting this inner critic continue to just run your head and then only perpetuate your self-sabotage. So starting to notice that inner critic and coming back at it with kindness. And I know this can sound really hard, but truly, like, beating ourselves up, it feels like, oh, maybe this is going to help me change, right? Maybe I need this. I need to like punish myself. When in reality, that oftentimes does the opposite. That can lead us into more of a self-sabotage spiral because, dang, we're like having low self-esteem now. We don't feel worthy of success, right? It just compounds in a negative way. And so we can hold ourselves accountable and want higher standards for ourselves and push ourselves and be kind at the same time, okay? So start noticing how you speak to yourself and talk to yourself like you would a friend. If you have these critical thoughts come up, ask yourself, like, would I say this to someone else? Oftentimes the answer is no, okay? And so we definitely should not be talking to ourselves in that way, or it might be helpful to not be talking to ourselves in that way and starting to like come back, is what I like to say, at those thoughts. Got an alarm, oops, with a kind thought. Other reason you might be self-sabotaging is you are simply coping. You might be dysregulated. A lot of us in this modern day have hectic, busy lives, lots of responsibilities, work stress, home stress, whatever it might be, sending us into a state of being dysregulated. Our nervous systems are on overdrive. We're overstimulated. Everything is, too much scrolling, maybe, chaos, right? And so this sends us into a state where our body is just trying to, you're kind of in like survival mode in a way, right? And maybe your coping mechanism to cope with these feelings or being in this chronic state of stress might be turning to food, might be sleeping, laying on the couch all afternoon. And the way to come out of this is definitely addressing your stress and addressing these different issues, but also is learning different coping mechanisms that are going to be truly helpful for you. Because let's take eating, for example. Eating can feel, in the moment, it feels like, oh, this is going to make me feel better. This is what I need. But oftentimes, it actually makes us feel worse, especially in the long term. Okay? We might feel good briefly, but in the long term, we feel like crap. We overate, we overdid it. Maybe in the long term, we're hurting our health, we're gaining weight, we're not, being our best selves. And so this is where, if you're not able to, obviously fully manage your stress, which most of us aren't able to fully get rid of stress, and stress isn't always bad, but along with managing your stress better is looking at coping with that stress in a different way, in an actually helpful way. So big one that I like to recommend for clients is simply walking more. You would be so surprised how much walking is going to benefit you overall, but specifically with your stress levels and with regulating your nervous system. If you can get outside for a walk, that is, not to be dramatic, but going to solve a lot of your problems. Like anytime personally I'm feeling overwhelmed, I get outside, go for a walk, don't put anything in my ears, just silence, just appreciating nature. It really helps. And that would be the first thing that I look at and recommend as a new coping skill. And one more point on this topic is shame. Shame can be something that really leads you into a state of being dysregulated, nervous system dysregulation. And unfortunately, there's a lot of shame that people are carrying or associating with specifically their nutrition and their fitness. I'm sure that maybe at some point in your life you felt shame about, not working out or eating something specific. And when this shame is just compounded over time, you feeling shame about everything, this can lead you into a state of feeling dysregulated. And it's so important that along your journey, you do the healing work to really look at your shame and see how you can heal this part of you and move forward, letting go of that shame, right? Focusing on moving forward. And, not to get too therapy up in here, but this is something to really, look at and really potentially talk to someone about if you feel like this is a big issue for you. Here are some signs that you might have a dysregulated nervous system. You feel tired, but you're unable to switch off and relax. You feel on edge or overwhelmed even when things are going well. You overreact to harmless triggers or false alarms. You have concentration problems, brain fog, or trouble focusing. You feel spaced out, numb, or on autopilot. And you react rather than respond and find it difficult to control how you feel. Okay, so things you can do, just building on what I was just talking about, is truly finding the things that you need or the things you need to let go of to come back to safety in your mind and in your body. Taking away all of the overstimulation, getting off of social media, literally deleting the apps that are keeping you addicted and scrolling. I don't know about you, but TikTok is not good for me. I keep it deleted and I don't go on it, and that's that. Also, what are you avoiding potentially in your life? Maybe doing something, having a hard conversation that is just weighing on you, and doing the thing is probably way easier than continuing to avoid it. Okay, so these are kind of my biggest tips here. And one more thing I will say, especially for women, this can be a really helpful thing, is to recurringly affirm to yourself, I am safe. At a survival level, at a core, fundamental human species thing, women especially, we have this need in life to really feel safe. And when we don't feel that way, that can send us into a place of being dysregulated. So continuously affirming to yourself, I am safe, right? Because a lot of us, we are truly safe. Um, we're safe with maybe having a place to live. We have, people around us. We have, these different support systems, but we might be feeling this unsafety due to like job stress, but really like reminding ourselves that throughout whatever the ups or the downs are, like we can continue to, find this safety within. And so really affirming to yourself, I am safe, can be a really great affirmation to start with. Next thing, when it comes to why you might be self-sabotaging, or something that's driving your self-sabotage, okay, is cognitive distortions. These are internal mental filters or biases that increase our misery, fuel our anxiety, and make us feel bad about ourselves. Screw that. Okay, here are some cognitive distortions just to kind of give you an overview here. We're not going to dive too much into it, but we've got overgeneralization. So this could be, my diet is so unhealthy, when maybe it might not quite be that unhealthy, and this is just a generalization you're making. This could also be jumping to conclusions, discounting the positive, mental filters, mind reading, predictive thinking, magnification, emotional reasoning, should and must statements, labeling, personalization and blame, catastrophizing, and black and white thinking. Okay, these are all big ones that I see pretty often when talking with clients. Is maybe you miss, like, let's say a client misses a week of workouts, and they sometimes might be catastrophizing of like, oh my gosh, I feel like all my progress is gone, and this, I can't believe I did that, and da da da, and it creates this whole big thing, when in reality, it doesn't have to be this huge bad thing, and sometimes it can even be a good thing, having a little bit of a break. Okay, and so this is where, like, especially with nutrition, black and white thinking is huge when it comes to people struggling with their nutrition. Is they have something that they consider like unhealthy, and they label that as, oh, that was bad, and then that creates shame, and that leads them down a shame spiral, and then they feel like crap, and then they eat more crap because of the shame spiral. And so that's just like one area that developing more nuanced thinking, right? Allowing for a more nuanced view when it comes to nutrition, when it comes to your overall behaviors, is going to be much more beneficial than the default of, black or white, like this is good or bad, right? And that could be a whole new presentation on itself. So if anyone's interested in me diving deeper into these things, definitely let me know. And so for these cognitive distortions, this is going to be the solution here, or the place to start, really, is start questioning your thoughts and beliefs as they come up. Really asking yourself, like, when you have a thought, like asking yourself, is that true? Or is that what I want to believe? Or is this reality? Or what, could be another reality, right? Like starting to ask yourself more questions about your own mind. And with that, coupling that with more education around how to think, right? How to think, especially on your health and fitness journey. A lot of this is mental, and changing our habits, changing our mindset, changing our beliefs. It takes not just, the inner knowing, right? Which that's very important, is our inner knowing, our inner reflection, but also the outward education of working with a professional, of maybe consuming the right kinds of information online, which, side note, there's a lot of misinformation out there, especially in the health and fitness world. So definitely be careful. But this is a really great place to start, is start questioning the thoughts and beliefs that you are having. And so this is what I do. Okay, all this stuff we're talking about, all the self-sabotage, this is what I do as a coach, is help people overcome these things and really get consistent on their health and fitness journey and see results, right? So like I mentioned before, my bread and butter is this mindset behavior change psychology, because yes, I can create the most perfect nutrition plan custom to you. I can create the most perfect custom workouts for you that are going to get you amazing results. But I don't care about that if we can't stick to the plan, if we can't figure out a way that this is going to really work for you and really get to the core of what's holding you back. And so I've seen this work dramatically change my life and my clients' lives. Okay. I've personally worked with coaches who have been trained the way that I've been trained, and it is really game changing when you work with someone who isn't just like, do better, who, you need a coach who like gets it, who will go beyond the workouts and nutrition. Okay. So yeah, like someone who will hold you accountable and be compassionate, encouraging, and supportive. And that's exactly what I do for my clients and what I'm so passionate about. And I would love to share with you an opportunity to work with me if you are interested. So here's like a couple testimonials from some clients, if you want to pause and read. But here is my virtual personal coaching and what this looks like. So for my clients, I'm creating them a custom workout plan, custom nutrition, and overall lifestyle plan to really get you the best results possible. And every week we have a formal weekly check-in. This is where we're checking in on how things are going. We're checking on if your plan is working, if we're moving in the right direction, and how you're feeling, how your week went, if any struggles were coming up. And this is where I'm providing you feedback, coaching you, and also having a further conversation with you if we need to dive a little deeper into some of these behavior change, habit, mindset things as well. And so on top of that, you have access to text me anytime. You've got community group access, and also access to our lifts at my house if you are local to Loudoun County. I'm actually doing these weekly, I think maybe for the summer. I'm not sure if we'll continue that, but definitely a monthly group lift is always a thing that we do here inside of Strong and Healthy. So I decided to do a giveaway. This is something I never really run discounts. I don't really run giveaways quite ever. But I really wanted to do this, especially for my 22nd birthday. Decided to do a $22,000 giveaway. Something crazy for the first 22 people to join coaching for a year, get $1,000 off their package. So I would absolutely love to work with you. I would love to help you change your life. If you are wanting to chat with me more and are interested in this opportunity, / hearing about some other options. If you're like, Anna, a year, I don't know about that. I do have some other coaching commitment options. But yeah, most clients that come and work with me are working with me for on average like 8 to 12 months is really the time frame that we can get you absolutely incredible results and truly change your lifestyle, truly work on the habits and behaviors that might have been holding you back and really transform in a way that is sustainable, get you these results that you can actually keep for once and for all. And side note, if you're like, Anna, you're only 22? Yes, I've been doing coaching for about like 5 years at this point. It's really been like my purpose and my path, my passion that, I had a lot of struggles on my own, like I mentioned before, and really transcended them, turned them into, what I do for a living. So, yeah, it's kind of what I've always done and what I'm really, really freaking good at. So this is my invitation to you and my also like tough love nudge is that if this sounds like, dang, that would be a really good fit, but oh, I'm really busy, or maybe you have some confusion about, okay, how exactly does this like virtual coaching work? I have some lingering questions, right? These are all ways that if there's any sort of confusion, or maybe the thoughts of busy or whatever, or the investment or whatever, these are things that can be also self-sabotage, potentially running the show for you, okay? So if you are like really called to work with me, you feel like, dang, this could truly change my life, and I am really interested to talk to Anna, but you let these self-sabotage things run the show, that's going to be, perpetuating those things. So this is something that, I'd love to invite you to have a consult with me. I do these free, no pressure type chat where you get to, ask me any more questions, and we can see what coaching package might be the best fit for you. So if you're interested, hit me up. Let's chat. If not, totally cool as well. And I would love to hear if you got value from this presentation. If something in this presentation changed your mind, if something really resonated with you, I would love to know your feedback. Please message me. I would definitely consider myself like a hidden gem right now in the coaching world. I'm not talking to hundreds of people. So this 22-person offer is definitely going to be something that is probably available for a little bit. So the chances of getting one of these spots is pretty good, but also definitely make sure you reach out so that we can get you in at that discount, or that giveaway. And yeah, also knowing that I would love to talk with you one-on-one, even if you just have feedback for me, right? Please message me. And yeah, a little recap of today is self-sabotage might have been running the show for you, but it doesn't have to anymore. You can do the work to move past it and get healthier and fitter than ever. It is so, so worth it going on this journey, as hard and as scary as it might feel. Truly couldn't even express how much better I feel and how my life has changed with overcoming my self-sabotaging issues and finally feeling really freaking good in not only my body and my energy and my performance, but also like my brain. Having these skills that I've built over the years has been invaluable, and I would love to support you and help you if this is something that's really resonating with you and something that you're looking for help with. So again, reach out if I can help with anything, if you have any questions, and if you'd like to work with me one-on-one via our virtual coaching offer, I'd love to chat, see how I can help you change your life.